This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Wednesday morning to you. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. You can take us in any which way. We're just happy you do any of them. Thank you so much. It's Gil Alexander. That right there is Kelly Bidlin, everybody.
Hey, yo, how we doing?
Producer number 9. So much more than a producer. How you doing, man? You good?
I'm doing great.
You know, Wednesdays,
Doing
Kelly,
fantastic.
Wednesdays are like the stepchild of the weekdays.
They are.
During football
They
season.
are, yes.
It's kind of the dip in the week, right? But we've got it chock full of guests today. And we got some stuff to say about MLB awards here at the end here with second to last week of the regular season. And obviously, I want to talk about this one thing happening in the National Football League. Get through 2 weeks. That explains a lot in Survivor for sure. Mm-hmm. And we'll push it forward here towards a Megapod question. Real quick, though, Will Hill will join us this hour. All of his bets. He, the host of the Shoulda Bet More podcast. Elihu Feustel will join us as well. Now, for a lot of people listening, they're like, Elihu Feustel? Who's that? Well, let me just say this. You know how I say if Barry Lamar Bonds is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, there shouldn't be a Hall of Fame? Mm-hmm. Well, if Elihu Feustel is not in the sports betting or sports gambling halls of fame, there shouldn't be those either. Elihu Feustel, who has taught many a generation about betting through his books, through his moderating, through his newsletters, he will join us to talk about the topic that came up earlier this week, because during Guessing Lines, I quickly made some bets where I bought points. We're going to get to the bottom of when is the appropriate time to buy points, when is the appropriate time to sell. The definitive word from Elihu Feustel.
I gotta find the podcast too, Gil. But I was listening to one during the summer with him on it, and there's not many people that you'll hear explain exactly how to build out statistical models for sports. He literally went on a podcast and was walking through the hosts about how to build basically a model for their NFL season. It was fascinating.
He's fantastic. In fact, he's so fantastic. I don't know how sports betting has contained him. Like, I don't know how he hasn't moved on to other things. Maybe he has, by the way. Just sort of. He's probably sitting out there. He's like,
find out 30 minutes.
What are you talking about? I did this. I cured this disease. Greg Peterson, full slate Major League Baseball. Greg Hoops Peterson to give us all of his bets. And the man is a volume shooter, so we'll have lots of bets.
That's right.
From Greg Peterson. Then hour number 2 and beyond, Nick Whalen. Whole bunch of fantasy questions for the RotoWire senior analyst Warren Sharp and Todd Wishnev, the yin and the yang.
I do love that.
One's the straight man, one's the hilarity. You decide who. You be the judge. We give you the people balanced, and you decide. Warren Sharp, Todd Wishnev, co-host of the Megapod in the Wishnev category. SharpFootballAnalysis.com for Warren. Let me just start real quick, because last night, well, there's a few things. One, let me just say this about the Cleveland Guardians under season win total bet.
Bro.
This has been the most comical baseball betting season for me there has ever been. One, and I don't bet daily, but the things that I have bet are the monthlies, which we won one last year. We came really super close two other times. And then this year has just been a comedy, right? When I've taken the Padres twice, they've been good the other 4 months, just not those 2 months. When I've taken the Rangers, good before, good after, not good the month. Right? It's been a comedy of stuff. The Cleveland Guardians one is the one that just puts it home the most, right? Under 82.5. They're 79-71. They won again last night. Forget the season win total. They're actually competing for a playoff spot, and they're not going to get there in the AL Central, but they're only 5.5 out of the AL Central lead now. It's ridiculous. Anyway, by run differential, instead of being 79-71, they should be 71-79. Bill James's tried and true run expectancy. And by sequencing, I think even worse. And Mark Borchard rolls on the show yesterday and says he has them as the 24th best team in baseball. I don't know if you know this, Kelly. There's 30 teams.
It's not great.
So it's just, you just have to laugh. You just have to laugh. They're 2.5 out of the wild card race in the American League. So anyway, it looks like I'm going to have to, looks like it's never over till it's over. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. It's never over till it's over, but it looks like I'm going to have to buy Adam Burke dinner.
It's also never under till it's over.
That's absolutely correct.
I was sitting there last night on the couch, and I'm like, this has happened a few times in the past few weeks, where I'm like, just the crawl comes across, and it's like, Guardians, whatever it was in extras, and I'm just like, chuckle.
The Tigers tied it up in the 9th yesterday. I'm like, oh, here we go. And then the Guardians score 4 in the 10th, which is just, it's like, okay. So anyway, there's that. So I want to acknowledge that's that looks to be now on its way to being a loser, as they've won 9 of their last 10. For those who have bet awards, which I didn't bet any of them, and perhaps if you're on your way to winning them, you should be thankful that I didn't jump on your side, because as soon as I would have bet them, something terrible would have happened to any of these players. But a lot got clarified just even yesterday. One, the National League MVP, Shohei Ohtani, for those who had any doubt. And remember, we had a moment a couple weeks ago where people were like, Schwarber, stop it. So even somebody was like, Soto, why don't you ever talk about it? Because it's Shohei. And last night, Shohei hit his 50th ding-dong. Forget about the part where the Dodgers bullpen then just completely imploded in this game.
Yeah, well, five innings pitched of no-hit ball from Shohei, goes out there and hits a home run, and then the Dodgers fall apart?
Well, I was about to say that, but sure. Yeah, that's what happened. In fact, that was historical last night.
Really?
According to Josh Dubow of the Associated Press, the Dodgers became the first team since 1906, Kelly. You remember that. Pre-Prohibition, I know you don't.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Yep.
Since 1906.
First time ever, then.
Since 1906 to get 5 no-hit innings from a starting pitcher, then have its bullpen allow at least 9.
Wow. Okay.
That's the first time that's ever happened. So anyway, for the Dodgers and their playoff prospects with that bullpen, that's another story. But for Shohei, he hits his 50th homer, and as Kelly just said, 5 innings of no-hit ball. That's your final exclamation point of, in case you had any doubt, I'm the guy. And just to let you know, again, speaking of history, that's only the 6th time anybody's gone back-to-back 50 home run seasons. Remember last year he went 50-50, 50 homers, 50 stolen bases. The others, Babe Ruth, Mark McGwire, Ken Griffey Jr., Sammy Sosa, Alex Rodriguez. So Shohei's the 6th person to go 50 back-to-back in homers. By the way, he got pulled after 5 innings after 68 pitches because the Dodgers, Dave Roberts and the Dodgers are just like, you're pitching 5 and that's it. That's just been their thing this year, in case you were wondering about that. And by the way, the Dodgers pitchers last night to implode Justin Wroblewski and Blake Trinan later in that game. But Ohtani also, the only MLB player to hit 50 homers and throw 50 strikeouts in the same season. That's a brand new one.
Really?
Yeah, because Babe Ruth stopped pitching regularly the year before his first 50-homer season.
No, I guess I'm just surprised Shohei hadn't done it.
It's Shohei, man. And then he joins Cal Raleigh and Kyle Schwarber as the only 50-homer guys this year so far. So far.
He's good at baseball.
So he's on his way. It's going to be his 4th MVP. And if you're scoring at home with MVPs, the only person to ever have more than 4 MVPs, Barry Lamar Bonds, who had 7. Shohei joins Barry as the only person, or will join Barry as the only person to have 4, period. Shohei's distinction, though, is that he's done twice in both leagues. So forget about NL MVP. AL MVP, I stand by what I've said the whole time. Aaron Judge's mine is 900. Aaron Judge leads the major leagues in the slash numbers. Batting average, OBP, and slugging. He is the AL MVP. Though Cal Raleigh now has 56 homers, and I did mention that if Cal gets to 60 and Aaron Judge doesn't get to 50, that might be something else. But here's the thing. Cal's at 56 and Aaron Judge is at 48. So Aaron's only got to hit 2 more to put that to bed also. As far as Rookie of the Year, that got clarified yesterday, too. We already know in the AL it's going to be Nick Kurtz of the Athletics, 32 homers in 106 games, 296 batting average. I mean, that'd be top 10 batting average if he had enough at-bats to qualify, enough plate appearances to qualify. But NL Rookie of the Year last night, and Michael Montesano, shout out to him because he called this early. What's his number on Cade Horton?
It's like 100 something. It's triple digits.
Cade Horton is now minus 280. He pitched yesterday for the Cubbies. He's now 11-4 with a 2.66 ERA over 22 games, 21 starts. He had a bad performance on June 27th where he had a 7-run, 4-walk shelling versus the Astros. But in the 13 starts since, Kelly, a 1.29 ERA, allowing only 13 extra base hits in 70 innings.
Yeah, that's silly.
Averaging less than 2.5 walks per 9 innings in that time. And the thing about NL Rookie of the Year is there was never anybody else who truly stepped up, right? Drake Baldwin of the Braves and Isaac Collins of the Brewers, good players, but they never did anything so outstanding to just make this a non-market. And Cade Horton has filled the vacuum beautifully. He's minus 280. Congratulations to anybody who's got him because it looks like with 1 or 2 starts left, he's the guy.
Yeah, it's big too, right? You're talking rookie of the year and comparing pitchers to position players to just to bank that yesterday, right? It's and you only have two. Yeah, there's only so many opportunities for you to even screw up at this point, right? That's kind of the way you look at it.
It's huge. That was a huge game to get through, and he does well again in 5 innings pitched. And then the only other thing is the Cy Young, and we've always leaned on Tom Tango and his Cy Young tracker, and we all say whatever he has at the end of the season. He has correctly nailed 32 of the last 38 Cy Young winners, both leagues. So the last 19 years, 32 of the last 38, and 5 of the 6 he missed finishing second. Well, Tarek Skubal's at minus 4,000 in the Cy Young race in the AL. Paul Skeens is minus 20,000. You don't often see a number like that before it's pulled. And anyway, he's got per his Cy Young tracker here, with again a week and a half left in the season. Skubal set to go on for Thursday. Skubal's going to pitch tomorrow, I believe it is. He had the rib cage soreness over the weekend, a bit of a scare, but he's fine, so he's going tomorrow. Skubal's got a 2-point lead in the point system of Tango over Crochet. Skeens is a million. It's actually like 9 points, but that's like a million points ahead of Sanchez.
Okay. I was going to say, how big is 2 points? But if 9's a million, got it.
Yeah. So Skubal, I guess, if Skubal had 2 horrible outings here at the end, I guess it might not be him, but it's his to lose. Let's put it that way. So you can put those to bed. And that's where it stands with all those awards. And so again, thank you to me for not jumping on your players. Thank you, Michael Montesano. You're welcome that I never bet on Cade Orton, because something terrible would have happened to him as soon as I did.
I'll lay the price now. See what happens on the next outing.
Actually, through text, people were having that conversation yesterday. Should we just lay that? Before last night, it was still minus money on Cade, but it wasn't quite as high.
I mean, it was one something, right? Then we jumped to the 200s. I think you're right. I think it was something like that.
So people were thinking about that, and after last night, that turned out to be, or looks like it's going to be a good move. We'll come back, this NFL stat quirk that we want to talk about here early in the season, and Will Hill, all of his bets across the sports betting landscape next. Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's college football tailgate show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the football contest show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Foley on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, a double shot with Brad Powers. He's back to give out his best bets for the weekend of college football and some futures. Sal Powell on week 3, the big matchup with the Rams and the Eagles. And Richie B hops on the program. His numbers have been outstanding in college football. We'll run down the slate and the big games and a lot of day games. A week and a half left in the regular season of baseball. Follow the Money 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
You know, we rarely talk about our website, VSiN.com. I don't know about rarely, but, not as much as we should. Want to bet smarter? Start with Smarter Insights. Right now, you can check out college football and NFL betting hubs for all your resources in one place. Steve Makinen's Week 4 college football analytics report, Zach Cohen's Dolphins-Bills preview for tomorrow night. And later today, you can check out Adam Burke's Week 4 college football picks, Josh Applebaum's early Week 3 sharp report, and Cotillion Stakes Pennsylvania Derby previews. Oh, what are you betting on that, Kelly?
2-horse.
Right now, you can sign up for as little as $9.99 to access all the VSiN Pro articles. Just head to VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up today. Please, someone track and see if the number 2 horse ends up winning. The Cotillion Stakes. It's Gil Alexander. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback from all y'all. This is my least favorite kind of tweet, Kelly, is the one that responds to one of our video clips with one of two things. One, they're either regurgitating what was just said on the video clip, or two, more likely, they just didn't watch the video at all, and they're just saying what we said. So
yeah.
Fantasy Football Dive Bar.
They wanted to let you know their opinion, Gil. They don't care about what you said.
Tweeting about our Survivor clip. The commies would be a no-brainer if Daniels was 100%. Seattle seems the most logical. Not as challenge of a rest/travel scenario as the Raiders have, but there won't be many more spots like this to use the Seahawks in Survivor this year. You don't say.
Agreed. That's well said.
Well said. Nick at Real Nick's. I would never root against my baseball team that I've lived and died with for 50 years, but every time they pull off crap like they did last night, I seriously think of you and just shake my head. On behalf of lifelong Cleveland baseball fans, I apologize, my dude. Thank you. I appreciate that. Todd Hoyer, though, says it this way. He says, I watch every Cleveland game closely, and they're just doing all the little things right, not allowing the extra bases, cutting down runners, perfect defensive positioning, stuff that probably doesn't show up on base winner sims. Go Guardians.
Great hustle team.
He's probably right.
Great hustle.
I didn't put hustle into my pre-flop model. Van Keno. Mark. Hey, Gil, as a Tigers fan, on August 7th, with the Tigers holding a 9.5 game lead for the AL Central, I placed a happiness hedge on the Guardians to win the division at 25-1. Win-win either way. Well, you're live. You're live. I don't think it's going to happen, but good God, the fact that we're even talking about it. Will Hill joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on Twitter at @NotTheWillHill. That's 2 E's on the "the." He is the host of the Shoulda Bet More podcast. But not only that, he is the star of Chris Felica's Bear Bets pods, as well as one of the stars of the Megapod, the Beating the Book Megapod. He joins us now. How you doing, Willie?
Gilly, Kelly, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being. Where'd you land baseball? Let's start there. Full day, night baseball. Where'd you end up betting?
Yeah, before I get to my picks, I will just vent some frustration here. The Texas Rangers and the San Diego Padres can both go have relations with themselves. They constantly,
it's so
every
bad.
time they creep up and give you some hope. And I got futures. They have Padres to win the division, some stuff with the Rangers and exacta with those two teams meeting in the World Series, like 215-1. Every time they creep up and you think maybe the Padres can steal the division, maybe the Rangers can sneak into the playoffs, they throw up on themselves and they lose 2 or 3 in a row. And then every time you're ready to give up on them, they win a few and they get some help and you look up and wow, I gave up on them, but they're right there. It has been so frustrating. Just go away. Make up your mind. Either win and get in, and if your Padres win the division, or just go away. It's been so frustrating, those two teams. But as far as today, I did bet the Orioles on the money line. Martin Perez is a big-time regression candidate. Expected ERA is about 2 runs higher than the actual ERA. So I think the Orioles can get to him. Wells has actually been pretty good for Baltimore. So Orioles on the money line, minus 120-ish. And I actually bet Arizona, too. Verlander struggled with control. He's actually, I think, been better than people think. He can still get the ball up there, around 100 miles an hour with his age is really impressive. But Giants aren't hitting. Verlander's shaky control. I think Arizona wins. And I actually thought about yesterday. It's 250-1 yesterday. I actually thought about taking Arizona at 500-1 just because baseball is so random and they're not that far out of the playoffs, and it would just be fun to have a 500-1 ticket. I mean, the other side of that is you don't want to make a bet that's not going to win, and it's down to 250-1 at DraftKings. Again, it's probably not going to lose, but I just thought it was interesting that they're kind of in the mix for a playoff spot.
Yeah, they are.
500-1, but I've been saying this. I think the 12 teams that are currently in are going to be the 12 teams that get in. I don't think anyone's going to steal a spot. And I think the matchups are going to hold here, which a couple weeks from now, we're in for some great matchups. Yankees, Red Sox, if it holds, Dodgers, Mets, Cubs, Padres, and then Astros, Mariners. I mean, that is really, really good.
I know people say other times of year are their favorite, but I have always said October is the best. Weekend football and then weekday and weekend baseball.
Those are some
playoffs.
ridiculous
It's
playoff
the greatest.
matchups. Wow.
Yeah, it's the
That'd be
greatest.
fun.
So after this week and a half, that's when it starts, obviously. So much of what you said. I mean, Verlander, he was great against the Dodgers over the weekend. So, yes, Verlander is stepping up as a starter here late in the season for the Giants. But I have this policy. If you're below 500, I'm not even talking about you. So Giants and Reds who are a game below 500, no. You have to get to 500 before we treat you seriously, even though both obviously still mathematical alive in the National League wildcard race. But great night for the Mets last night with both the Giants and Reds losing. The Diamondbacks, the closest to them now, a game and a half back. You were Diamondbacks with that ticket. And just hearkening back to what you're saying about the Padres and Rangers, it is so true. I don't remember a season like this. I've said it many times. Every time you look up at the standings, they remain the same. You're like, how are the Dodgers still in first place? How are the Rangers still not in playoff position? And yet here we are. And listen, we're running out of time. 10, 11 games left in the season. That's it. It's been incredible.
The Padres aren't going to win it. I mean, there's enough hope where only 2 out, but remember, they don't have the tiebreaker. Yep. So you're essentially 3 out, and they're not that good. I mean, they're losing games to the Rockies. They got buried last night. The Dodgers are just not playing well enough to give you a little hope, but that ticket's not going to get home. Dodgers are going to win that division.
What about college football? What do you have this weekend?
Yeah, I like Memphis getting the 7.5. A little bit of a trap spot for Arkansas, who is not good defensively. Ole Miss last week, a tough game, a game they actually could have won late, and they fumbled. And I know you, me, and the guys in the group chat had a tough beat. We had Ole Miss team total over 42.5, and it was like no way for it to lose until it lost, and they just stopped scoring somehow. But I like Memphis here. Arkansas, like I said, Ole Miss last week, Notre Dame next week. Memphis has a pretty good team here. I think Memphis might be a little sleeper to be the group of 5 playoff representatives. So I like Memphis plus the points. And I like Florida plus the points against Miami. I just think this could be a close, ugly, low-scoring game. That Florida defense played really good last week. On the road against LSU, they only gave up 10 first downs. They didn't give up a second-half point. The only points LSU got in the second half was off a pick 6. They did hold LSU to 13 points. 7 came on the pick 6. So that Florida defense is playing really good. I think 8 is a lot. The summer line was 3. So I think Florida will cover. That being said, I do think, and I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here, I do think a couple weeks from now, a month from now, we're going to look back and say, wow, Miami was in the 17-1 range, 20-1 range. I think they're still 17, 18-1 range to win it all. I know Cristobal you don't trust, and he's got to get out of the way and all that stuff. He's got a lot to prove in a big game. But they are so talented, both offensive line, defensive line. Beck, when he has time to throw, is outstanding. I think as long as Cristobal doesn't get in the way, I think that team is a semifinal, final kind of team. And look, you can win in college without a great coach. Ed Orgeron was not exactly, Vince Lombardi in terms of a coach. He just had a great team at LSU, and they killed everybody. I think Miami's really, really good. I do think it'll be a close game this week, though.
Ed Orgeron was not exactly Vince Lombardi. Nemesis Enforcer tweets in, Will Hill with the quote of the day, Rangers and Padres can go have relations with each other. Officially in my quiver, plotting my maiden use, he says. All right. By the way, shout out to our buddy Christopher Felica, right? Miami alum, the U. Who doesn't often, he's not a homer. He doesn't every year ever talk about them as such. But before the season started, he called all of this, right? He was like, this is going to be a good team. Carson Beck is a Heisman candidate, so on and so forth. So shout out to him on that.
He's the opposite of a homer. He is. He's very negative. He's the opposite. Yeah, he's very anti his own team, but he's fair about it. And that did perk my ears up when he was as high on Miami as he was. I was late to the party, but hey, better late than never. You can still get a 17-1. I still think that's a great bet right now.
It's so funny how that shifts. By the way, for 25 years, I was like killing Washington at any turn, betting against them. As soon as they get good, people are like, "Oh, you're such a homer." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure."
Well, speaking of fair and unbiased, see you in the Doak October 4th, Miami. You better bring it. Got to get past that Florida State team first, Will.
Should be fun. Georgia Tech, by the way, has a pretty clear path to the ACC title game. If you look at their schedule, they don't have to play Miami, Florida State, Louisville. Their schedule, I don't have it in front of me, but their schedule is pretty cake. So Georgia Tech actually being in the ACC title game is pretty possible, if not likely here.
What a great game-winning kick that was this past weekend.
Yeah.
All right, to the NFL, don't give it all away because obviously the Megapod is tomorrow. And by the way, for those wondering, yes, the Megapod was Wednesday the first 2 weeks, but we're back to the Thursday schedule starting this week. Give us one play for week 3, if you would.
Cincy +3, Bengals +3. I just don't think with Minnesota's injury report, I actually think Wentz could play well for them because anyone seems to play well with O'Connell and the receivers, but they are so beat up. Remember, they don't have Addison and Darisaw. We'll see if Darisaw is back, but they have a laundry list of injuries. And as great as Burrow is, the Bengals have actually played okay when Browning has gone in for them. I think 5-3 in his last 8 appearances. They've moved the ball pretty well. So I don't think Minnesota should be laying 3. I faded them last week. That was a rare one I got right in the NFL in terms of the side so far. I'm going back to the well and faded Minnesota.
All right, before you go, I want to read this to you because I got to get your reaction. Mariners Geek. Keep in mind, Mariners Geek on Twitter. 38% of Aaron Judge's ABs are as a DH. Cal Raleigh's having a historic season as a switch-hitting catcher and handles the pitching staff behind the plate. Real baseball fans understand who is more valuable. And you Yankees fans say...
I think it's a very close race. I don't think the market is right. I think Judge would win a very narrow race. I think those odds are off.
I think if, like I said, if it's 60 to 40 something, they'll give it to Raleigh. Otherwise, Aaron Judge. Will Hill, everybody, at Not The Will Hill. Thank you, Willie.
See you guys.
Elihu Feustel, when to buy points, when not to. Next on A Numbers Game.
There's no better time to join VSiN Pro right now. Get started for just $9.99 for your first 30 days or save 50% off with an annual subscription. As a pro user, you'll get our newly updated NFL betting guide as well as the college football betting guide, the ultimate playbook packed with expert picks, team previews, and best bets. Plus, you'll unlock exclusive features like real-time betting splits, daily best bets, and full access to the VSiN Watch app. Don't miss out. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network. Get your edge this season with VSiN's College Football Betting Guide, exclusive to VSiN Pro subscribers. It's packed with 136 team previews, preseason top 25 rankings, and best bets from our experts. Pro subscribers also get the NFL Betting Guide, daily best bet emails, exclusive splits, and full access to our premium betting tools. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe for just $9.99 for your first 30 days. Or save 50% with an annual pro subscription and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Wednesdays at Bracco mean reduced juice because betting smarter starts with better pricing. Every NFL Thursday spread is offered at -103, -103 instead of the industry standard -110, saving you serious juice every week. And right now you can use code VSiN, get a 50% welcome bonus up to $100. You can also get free bets for referrals and contests. You're always getting extra value at playbracco.com. That's BRACCO. Like Lorraine Bracco. That's what she's doing these days. Playbracco.com. It's Gil Alexander, Kelly Billin alongside. This gentleman is always a treat to have on the show when we are able to. And he's, I said earlier in the week, he's like that scene in Woody Allen's classic 1975 movie Annie Hall, where Woody is annoyed by what some others are saying in the movie line. And he says, if only I had someone to tell these people what they're wrong about. He pulls media expert Marshall McLuhan from behind the curtain. Marshall McLuhan tells those people off, and Woody looks in the camera and says, if only life were like this. Well, this is our living Marshall McLuhan in the sports betting world. I'll say what I said earlier. There should be no baseball betting Hall of Fame without Barry Lamar Bonds. There should be no sports betting or sports gambling Hall of Fame, whatever you want to call it, without this gentleman. He is the author of books. His latest one, Beyond the Odds, Efficient Market Theory and Tools of Warfare for the Modern Sports Bettor. I, in San Francisco, have on my bookshelf Conquering Risk, Attacking Vegas and Wall Street, which was worth it alone for the push charts that existed in the back of the book. We'll get into that here momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, he also was the guy who he was his ghostwriter of newsletters from Pinnacle Sports in the 90s, which I was reared on. They were written by Simon Noble, but he was the ghostwriter of them. And for another generation, he was a great moderator, the best of the best at SBR as Justin Seven. It's Elihu Feustel, everybody, on a numbers game, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. How about that? How you doing, Elihu?
Hey, you're very generous. Thank you.
Thank you. You come to us from Indiana, I believe, if I recall correctly?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Elihu, by the way, before we get into what we want to talk about, how do you feel about things like the Sports Betting and Sports Gambling Hall of Fame? Does that mean anything to you to be inducted into something like that?
I don't spend a lot of energy on that. I'm focused on math and making money.
There you
go.
But
I'm happy for those who've made it.
What a beautiful response.
That's a great answer.
Beautiful response, Elihu. It's gorgeous. Okay, let's talk about, well, first, before we even get into the scenarios, the reason this came up is because I am not a guy who buys points, but during a show that we do here on Monday, Guessing Lines, I am looking for value first reactions to the upcoming week's NFL lines. And in doing so, I'm making bets while we're doing the show. And sort of haphazardly, I was like, oh, Atlanta, 3.5, I'll buy it down to 3, right? I was doing things quickly. We're buying this 3 to the +3 to +3.5. We'll get into that, but you wanted to contextualize it with push charts.
Yeah. So there's two questions you have to address. One is, should I buy a half point? And a similar question you'll see more often is, which of these two prices is better? I can take +3.5, 130, or +3, 110. And there's a right answer and a wrong answer. If you have the right answer, you're going to add 1% to your hold. If you don't get the right answer, you're leaving money on the table. So understanding this skill is critical for any professional gambler. And that takes us back to push charts. If you're going to figure out which is the better play, you have to do what's called a push rate conversion. You have to look at the probability of win, draw, loss for each outcome and say what is the fair price after buying the point. But before we go into push rates, I want to take a look. I hate to tell you this, but the push charts I gave you in Conquering Risk 10 years ago, 15 years ago, are now obsolete.
Yeah.
They're not completely worthless, but they need to be redone based on the new rule changes and the more competitive landscape. So if you look back, people probably thought the push rate of the 3 was about 9%. And the consensus is that the push rate of the 3 has gone down with the new extra point rules. And what I found is actually just the opposite, that the push rate of the 3 has gone up. And so a lot of the push rates in competitive games have gone up. And, it's counterintuitive, because when you have the 2-point conversions and you have the missed extra points from all this, you'd expect it to be all scattered. But what people forget is that the game has become much more competitive. So if you look at the average margin of victory in the last 11 years, it's 11.1 points. Before 94, it was 11.8. So in 94 to 2014, it was 11.7. So it's only 5% closer, But that makes a big difference. If you're pushing 5% more frequently, it adds up.
That's fascinating. So because you're right, most people believe, two-point conversions now involved in football. Therefore, the rate at which games result in a push, that's what we mean by push rates, the rate at which games result in a push has to go down, but you're saying it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, and especially in all the push rates for the 1 to 6 have all gone up, at least with the data I have. So if you look at the probability of a push for those 6 indices, it used to be 20%, just adding them up, and now it's 27%. So in those competitive games, you have a ton more pushes. And if you're using an old push rate, you're probably making bad choices on when to buy and when to sell, or shopping. And the general rule in the past was buying or selling is going to be a sucker bet because it's priced correctly. And that's not necessarily true now. And you gave me 2 cases that you wanted to look at.
Yeah, this is from Monday's show. Yeah, I believe it involves the Falcons and the Bengals, if I'm not mistaken. Right.
So the 2, you gave me one play where a person could bet at -3, 110, or they could buy it down to -3.5, 110, or they could buy it down to 3. And if you use a push rate of 9.7%, the fair price going from -3.5 to -3 is -138, which is probably higher than most books are charging.
I got -135, yeah.
Then that was a good buy. You stole 3 pennies from the book.
There you go.
And you just added, 1% to your return. That was a good buy. Now, the other thing is if you go, generally buying from a push to a win is worth less than buying from a win to a push, because you're saving the juice when you save a tie. You're just adding to the win. So if you do the same case, you go from +3 to +3.5, the fair price on +3.5 with a push rate of 9.7 is only +133. So if you paid 25 cents to buy there, that would have been a bad buy, in my opinion.
I paid 22 cents, I believe, on that one.
So that was marginally good.
Marginally good. Still pennies. Pennies here and there.
But it adds up.
It adds up.
Pennies make a person rich.
And back to the push rates, because again, this is I answered somebody on Twitter, and I think I don't know if this is what caught your attention, but you jumped in, and I'm so glad you did, which is, it really does come down to the math of the push rates. Obviously, this hasn't been static in the NFL. You divided this into 3 eras?
Yes. So the first era I looked at was before 1994. Before that time period, you didn't have a 2-point conversion. I arbitrarily did these just based on 3 rule sets. The second era, 94 to 2014, was you have 2-point conversions, but you have the old extra point rule where it was easy to make extra points. And in 2015, when they moved the extra point line back, the extra point rate dropped from about 99% to about, between 95 and 96%. And because of that, you had we thought there'd be fewer games landing on the 3 and the 7. But you get in these 2-point dances, and you have teams, the field goal kickers are much better. Even the extra point rate has gone up since then. And the net result is that all these push rates, the 7 is about the same, but the 10 has gone down, but just about every other push rate's gone up.
Elihu, I so appreciate it, man. This makes, first of all, you explain it so well. Again, before 94, no 2-point conversions. 94 to 2014, 2-point conversions, but shorter extra points. Since 2014, 2-point conversions and longer extra points. And it makes sense, and now I feel better about making those bets on the fly. But again, it's always price sensitive. That's the thing that everybody should remember. The latest book from Elihu, again, he was kind enough to join us a couple years ago at the D when this first came out, Beyond the Odds, Efficient Market Theory and Tools of Warfare for the Modern Sports Bettor, Elihu D. Feustel. Real quick, in the last minute before you go here, Elihu, if I may, and you can answer this to the extent that you'd like to, you're always looking for edges. I mean, it's a moving target in sports betting. I even said earlier, I was like, I'm surprised sports betting has contained your brain. I'm surprised you're not doing other things. What are you betting on these days?
I'm always betting correlated parlays, but the new thing with these push charts you should think about are teasers. What are the fair teaser odds?
Oh,
I'll just let people do their own work on that.
That's exactly what you should be thinking about with the new charts. teasers we'll have, and we have it. Is our teaser segment later today, as a matter of fact?
No, we're going to do it tomorrow.
We're going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's a moving target, too.
That's right.
But that's food for thought from Elihu. That's what we ought to be thinking about on teasers as well. Elihu, I can't thank you enough. At D_Feustel, Feustel, Elihu Feustel on a numbers game. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
Elihu Feustel, everybody. Always a pleasure to have him. It's totally a Marshall McLuhan thing, right? Just if only I had someone I could pull from behind the curtain to explain this to everybody. There he is.
Great stuff. That was consider me one of the surprise people about those push numbers going up.
That thing about the 3 just blew some people's minds because everybody likes to sound smart and say, "Oh, it doesn't fall on the 3 as much." No, it falls more on the 3 based on the games being more competitive. From the Elihu Feustel experience to the Greg Peterson experience, his baseball plays next on a numbers game at VSiN.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim is the only thing like it in the world.
Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
And shout out to Elijah Moore as well. Oftentimes he's Elijah less. Keep in mind, Sean Payton is evil for fantasy football.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
This week's Average Joe contest winner is Margaret Arana. Congratulations, Margaret. Good for you.
There we go.
It was a tough week at the top. 10 contestants won a perfect 7-0. Remember, tiebreakers come down to your best bet of the week, followed by best NFL record that week. The contest is free to enter, and every week you can win cash prizes, plus quarterly prizes like a trip to Las Vegas with a Circa Resort stay and even a guest appearance on a VSiN show. Enter anytime this season at VSiN.com/Joe. So let me clarify that. Margaret Arana wins it. A lot of people went 7-0. Well, 10 did. She was one of the 10. Tiebreakers, your best bet of the week, followed by best NFL record. Remember, it's NFL and college. So those are the tiebreakers in that, and she won the tiebreakers. So wow. Good on her.
Good for you. Sorry to everybody else that went 7-0, but
yes.
Yeah, I'm glad we had tiebreakers in place.
That's probably a good point.
So Gil, I just ran back there to tell the crew good job on a couple things last segment, and then we have battery chargers set up back there that have roughly I'm going to go with 60 AA batteries charging for like our little IFB packs.
Oh yeah.
Tripped over them and just came crashing to the ground.
That explains why you were stumbling in
that's
here.
why I was running in here, yeah.
Like 1 second left on the clock.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Thanks, Wyatt.
I could see him over there cleaning him up right now.
3Jack H3131 on Twitter. Gil, don't be mad at the Guardians. Each game, they're just putting their foot in the ground and heading towards the open space in search of victory. That green grass, that's what they're headed towards. Bruce Dobig and Shohei puts this preseason parlay over the top. He had Jose Ramirez, 30-plus homers, Juan Soto, 40-plus, Kyle Schwarber, 40-plus, Shohei, 50-plus, 40-1. Nice. There you go,
That's awesome.
Bruce. Well done. Kenny Dillingham, sexual. I like that he puts in sexual. Says Horton out to minus 280 on DraftKings for NL Rookie of the Year after shoving against Skeens yesterday. Bring us home, Cade. Oh, he's bringing you home, all right. Chris Heath, contingent to the number it's coming off or on. I heard a good rule of thumb is never pay more than 7 cents for half a point. Well, I think Elihu would probably break that down further.
Well, and the bigger part of that is okay, rule of thumb. Maybe I won't argue with that expression, but as Elihu, I think, just explained very well, this is a constantly moving. I mean, this is every single year, every era, this changes.
What I love so much about that segment, and by the way, again, this dude has helped so many people through the years, as Justin Seven at SBR, as Simon Noble at Pinnacle, and it's all been him. And that last bit that he mentioned at the end, and you could tell he didn't want to spoil his edge, and we're not going to spoil it for him. But think about teasers. Pretty awesome. Shooter McGamblin. In regards to the buying, selling points discussion yesterday, when a line is 3.5, I'll often bet 70% on plus 3.5 and 30% on plus 3, plus 105, plus 3.5 minus 118, 30% on plus 3 plus 105. I don't know if this is a thing or not, just sharing.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Breast Elite Cup. Pennies make dollars and dollars make winners. Great segment, great info. Always on ANG. Thank you. And thank you to Elihu. The numbers, guys. Elihu is great. I was going to ask you to ask him about advantage stacking with teasers, a small paragraph in his latest book, but something else I never thought about. Also, how do push charts change for the fact that coaches are now using analytics for PAT choices? Well, it's all built into the push charts because the push charts are historic. Jim Olaquire. Elihu? Gil, as brilliant as that fellow is, I believe the reaction of most of your audience is, Jim Olaquire didn't think he was getting good knowledge from it. Jim Olaquire, his brain shut off because it was too heady for him. Well, sorry, Jim.
It's a numbers game.
Jim, it's a numbers game. Hope there was more in that than a lot. You didn't do your normal math warning, though. I did not. Usually I said warning math. That's correct. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, less math from Greg Peterson. How about that? Greg Peterson joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. VSiN host. And, of course, the name of this is a very cleverly titled podcast, The Baseball Betting Show. How about that? Greg Peterson joins us now, GUnit_81. What's happening, Greg?
The creative team really had to think of the name of The Baseball Betting Show. They did a great job, and I'm here to do a great job for you guys. How's it going?
Doing very well. By the way, they're just concerned about SEO. So they're like, nothing clever. Just go Baseball Betting Show.
Hit it out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, Gil and Kelly with your long shots and beating the book. They won the Baseball Betting Show. All right, full day, Greg, full day and night, Major League Baseball. With a week and a half left, everybody's got, 10, 11 games left right in that pocket. First of all, how great is this? Is this fantastic? You're loving this as much as I am.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun because We just don't know what's going to be happening in the playoffs. The lack of a dominant team this year means that everything is as wide open as can be, and that means that we are going to be in for a really wild October. And heck, you take a look at these wild card races, tightened up a little bit with the way that the Mets have been playing, the way that the American League has seen some of these teams be able to rise up like the Guardians. So we've got ourselves a lot of fun here in the next few weeks.
All right, let's start with the Reds and the Cardinals. Speaking of a team that needs to win baseball games, they've fallen a game below 500 now with their loss yesterday and are now really looking up at the New York Mets 3 games back, or is it 2.5 back, I believe it is, on the Reds. Reds-Cardinals, what do you do today on this?
With this one, I'm going to be taking a shot on the Reds on the money line. For the longest time, they hadn't had a sweep all season long now. They've been swept twice in the last month or so, but with Brady Singer, he's been rock solid. He has given up 2 runs or fewer in 7 out of his last 9 starts, going up against a guy in Andre Palante, who, well, he is up on that. He's given up 4+ runs in 9 out of his last 12 starts. Doesn't really get a lot of strikeouts, doesn't really get a lot of walks. And for the Cardinals, this offense has been very concerning. They are dead last in the National League in terms of run production ever since the break. You've got a Reds team that they don't necessarily do one thing great. They don't have a single guy above 20 home runs this far this season, but they're just solid all the way around. Coached by a guy in Terry Francona that knows how to be able to get his teams to fire on all cylinders when it comes to a playoff push. I do like the Reds on the money line. And with that 8.5 total, I'd be looking at the over with the way that Palante just has not been good this year.
Yeah, I had it right the first time. Reds 3 out of the wild card race, 3 behind the Mets in the NL. Blue Jays, Rays, Jays with a 5-game lead atop the AL East with 11 to go. Who you got today?
I do have the Tampa Bay Rays here, and that total has fallen from an 8 to a 7.5. I do like the over there, as Kevin Gausman has been solid, but he's got north of a 3.4 ERA. He's had his ups and downs, and this has been a Rays offense that has been cooking a little bit more recently. Ian Seymour, though, he has been great since they put him in the role of a starter, and really should have been all season long. Was good at AAA Durham with the Bulls. He's been able to get 11 strikeout walks per 9 innings, 3.16 ERA in his time as a starter and a relief piece. It has been a Blue Jays bullpen that, by the way, since the All-Star break, they have been a bottom 10 team in all of baseball with regards to that ERA, so they've been really struggling out there. Do you think that the Rays are able to get to Gausman a little bit, get into that bullpen to help out with both the over and the money line?
By the way, the Jays, with the 5-game lead with 11 to go, technically haven't even clinched a playoff berth. Obviously, that should be happening here within days, but that's where they stand as they look to win the AL East. Let's go to the NL Central, where the Brewers have a 5-game lead over the Cubs with 11 to go. They have clinched a playoff berth. Brewers taking on the Angels today.
Yep, and Jose Soriano has had his ups and downs this far this season, but has been really good on the road. Problem is, this is an Angels bunch that is in the bottom 3 in the big leagues in terms of on-base percentage. Brandon Woodruff has been very rock solid for the Brewers, 11.2 strikeouts, and he's only giving up right around about 2.3 walks per 9 innings. I did play the under when this was. Now, this has fallen to a 7.5. I don't know if I could quite take a 7.5 under, but I do think I'm for the Brewers, who have been so good ever since the All-Star break. They are right there in the top 2 in the National League in terms of run creation. They're getting back Grant Anderson, who was on the injured list from that bullpen. They should be able to do a nice job holding down the Angels here. You're able to get plus money on that Brewers run line. So even though the 8s are starting to go away with regards to total, still do like the Brewers on the run line.
Mariners have a half-game lead in the AL West after winning 10 in a row, and the Royals, well, it ain't going to happen. Who do you got in the Mariners-Royals game today?
But it could happen for them today. Cole Ragans is coming back for his first start in quite some time, over 3 months, and Bryce Miller has not been good since he's come off the injured list as well. He has given up 4+ runs in 3 out of his last 5 starts, so I'm concerned about him. And for Cole Ragans, in his 10 1/3 innings rehabbing from the minor leagues, he got 20 strikeouts. So I do think that he could be in for a good performance overall this year, an ERA above a 5. He'll get dependent of a 2.47. Should be doing for a little bit of positive, but might not go in this game. I like that 8.5 over, and I do like the money line of the Kansas City Royals.
Skip ahead to the Phillies-Dodgers. So much for the game after you clinch a division hangover. Phillies come back in historic fashion to beat the Dodgers last night. Phillies have already clinched the NL East. Dodgers with a 2-game lead over the Padres in the West. Who do you got in this one?
We had a big outburst of runs yesterday, and I think that we get even more today. Jesus Luzardo, ever since May 31st, he's got a 5.26 ERA, just has not been great out there. And for the LA Dodgers, number one in the big leagues in terms of runs per game at home. And with Max Muncy in the lineup, he has been such a game changer. They're averaging about a run and a half per game more when he's in the lineup versus when he's out. If I had to play a side, I'd be looking at the Dodgers on the money line and a little bit of a bounce back after yesterday's loss. But I do think that Blake Snell gives up over 4 walks per 9 innings, gives up a few runs to the Phillies as well. Do like that.
All right, in the last 10 seconds here, Greg, a game that has no playoff implications whatsoever, Marlins and Rockies.
Well, we're going to be going with the Marlins on the run line. McCade Browns is getting called up to the big leagues. 9.88 ERA. Give me that over and give me the Marlins on the run line.
Greg Peterson, everybody, at GUnit_81 Hoops. Greg, thank you so much. You're the best.
Always appreciate it, Gil.